my name is Dipali and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make a very traditional Indian recipe called Moog Dal. The English translation I guess could be 4-lentil soup. 4-lentil because we're going to be using 4 different lentils in the dal. So the first step is to get each dal out separately, and you have to just sift through it quickly to remove any stones. So we'll start with Moog Dal, and this is readily available at most grocery stores, and the English name for it I think is split green grain. So we want half a cup of Moog Dal. And so here you can see it's just fine yellow seed. And just sift through it very quickly and eyeball it for any rocks or stones and get those out. So I'm just going to go through it really fast because I think it's fairly clean. The stones would probably usually be kind of white or clear in color, but I see a brown one trying to get. So this looks okay. So this is the first lentil, and just toss it in a bowl. The second dal, traditionally it's called masoor. In English it would be a red lentil, and this is also available at most grocery stores. So I would say not just a little less than half a cup, slightly less. And again, do the same thing, just eyeball through it really quickly and remove any stones that you see. That looks okay. So these are the 2 main lentils. We're taking the most of these 2. The second 2 lentils, the first one is called Dal, and this may not be available in a Western grocery store. You probably have to go to an Indian grocery store for it. So you can choose to omit it if you'd like and just add a little bit more of the other 2. So we want about just under a tablespoon of dal. And the second one is in this bag. And this is called chora. And this would also be available probably only at an Indian grocery store. So again, if you can't find it, just omit it. But I like to have them because it kind of adds some texture. So just under a tablespoon again. And I mean, these are okay, just a very quick glance, but I mean, I don't think you'd usually find too many stones in these 2. And toss them in. And mix it around. Okay, so now the next step is we need to take all this dal and wash it. So just fill some water in the bowl. And then kind of scrunch it around. You'll see that the first time you wash the lentils, the water becomes really yellow. Oh, and a note. My mom always says, wash with warm water. If you wash with cold water, the dal will take longer to cook. So I'm washing with lukewarm water. So you see the water's really yellow the first time. So just drain that all out. And we'll probably wash 2 or 3 more times. And I keep my hand here just so that I can catch anything that falls. So I'm just going to wash it once more. So at this point, get a pot. This is what you're going to boil it in. And just drop all this in here. Now it's all stuck to me. I'm just going to rinse it out with water. In total, you want to add about 7 or 8 cups of water to this pot. So I usually just eyeball it, but for those of you that want to measure, it's about 8 cups. Okay, so now that I've added all this water, this next step is to place it on the stove, and you'll probably need to boil it for about 40 to 45 minutes. Keep watching it as it's boiling, because you'll notice that a lot of the water will evaporate. And if you find that the consistency is getting too thick, then just add some more water in, because you want the consistency of this to be like a soup. But when you do add water in, if you need to, try to add hot water, because if you add cold water, then you'll really break the boiling, and that will slow down the cooking process. So let's put this on the stove. Okay, so about an hour later, this is what we have. So a lot of the water has evaporated, as you can see, and the dal itself has broken apart. But as I mentioned before, the consistency of this is a bit too thick to be a soup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the sink, and I'm going to add some hot water to this. As hot as I can get, because I don't have a kettle on, so I'm just going to have to do with some hot water from the tap. So you can see this is a bit soupier. The other thing I'm going to do, because some of these lentils seem a bit whole still, is I'm just going to grab this hand blender and just run it through really fast. Not too much. I kind of like the dal to be a bit whole. I don't like it to be so smooth, so that's why I'm not going to do it a lot. But alright, so here we go. Now you can see that it's pretty liquidy, pretty soupy. So this will boil now after I add all the other ingredients, and as it boils more it will thicken up slightly, so the consistency should end up being just right. Okay, so the next step, now that we have our dal boiled, is to make a tomato gravy for it. So what I have here is a